Welcome back to Untested Builds, where we make character builds for your favorite fictional characters for Pathfinder 2e. Today, we celebrate the release of Season 2 of the Netflix adaptation of Umbrella Academy, which was a pretty cool comic made by that Black Parade guy. To celebrate, we're bringing Allison Hargreeves, aka The Rumor, who can implant hypnotic suggestions with her voice in the show, but has reality warping powers in the comic. Talk about a downgrade. Like and subscribe if you want to see builds for the rest of the 7. Oh, and spoiler alert in case you didn't binge the show over the week. For our goals for this build, words we say need to become reality, whether that's because we actually conjured something with our abilities or our targets just believe we did. We also need to be renowned for our acting chops, and we need to have the ability to cash in on our fame with the commoners. For stats, we're going to be using the method outlined on page 20 of the core rulebook. Roll for stats if you want, we only need charisma for this. Allison is a human. Probably. At least her mother was. Skilled humans get training in a skill of your choice. We'll choose performance. At level 5, that skill automatically raises to expert proficiency. We also get 2 ability boosts, charisma and intelligence for better spells and more social mobility. We'll take the schemer background for boosting charisma and intelligence and training in diplomacy and the hobnobber feat for free, which allows us to use the gather information activity in half the normal amount of time. For our ancestry feat, we'll take astrology, meaning that 3 times per day, when we attempt a skill check, we can roll a d8. On a result of 6+, we get a +2 circumstance bonus on that skill check. On a 3, 4, or 5, we get a +1, and on a 2, we gain nothing, and on a 1, we take a -1 circumstance penalty. The main pro tags from Umbrella Academy make up your prototypical RPG party, except there's a dead guy who is somehow still playing and 2 bards for some reason. If the process of elimination has failed you, we're building Allison as a bard. First level bards get a boost to charisma, and we can select a muse. We'll go Maestro, more for mechanic reasons. We get the lingering composition focus spell, which can extend the duration of our composition cantrips. For now, that's just Inspire Courage, which gives your allies within 60 feet a +1 to attack rolls, damage rolls, and saves against fear effects. We also get regular old occult spells, 5 cantrips and 2 first level spells specifically. As usual for casting classes, we're only going over the most in-character options here, but feel free to take full advantage of the spell list to fill in the blanks. Daze is a cantrip that deals mental damage equal to our charisma modifier to a target. They also attempt a will save, critically failing they are stunned for a round. Just yell across the map that you heard a rumor your foes are suffering from crippling migraines. Prestidigitation lets you do a lot of little reality bending things since, all magic is basically reality warping, but in a fantasy setting we need to differentiate between what is standard magic and what is more esoteric. Command is a level 1 spell that's basically TV Allison's whole kit. You get to target a creature's will save to make them perform a basic action. They have to immediately comply if they fail, and they can't take any reactions during the course of the command. You can heighten this spell to 5th level, which we will. Doing so will let us target 10 creatures at once with this. If you can't tell, we're going to be focusing more on the comics power sets since those are more interesting and fall more in line with what a Pathfinder character would need to do on an encounter. For ability boosts, we'll select Strength, Dexterity, Intelligence, and Charisma. For skill training, we'll take Acrobatics, Arcana, Crafting, Deception, Intimidation, Society, and Stealth. At level 2, we'll learn the Inspire Competence composition cantrip to influence the outcome on our allies' skill checks. We'll take the Courtly Graces feat to use our Society skill to make an impression against nobles. Allison is certainly the more social of her siblings, and she's already basically a modern-day noble. Level 3 bards gain lightning reflexes for expert reflex saves and signature spells, meaning for each spell level we can select 1 spell to heighten freely to any spell level we have obtained. We get a skill increase that we'll use for expert proficiency in society. We can also cast level 2 spells. Paranoia makes a creature who fails a will save instantly suspicious of everyone around them, even their allies, potentially to the point of even becoming violent. Calm Emotions is basically the opposite, giving creatures in a 10-foot burst a -1 to attack rolls or preventing them from making any hostile actions at all and suppressing any other emotion-based effects based on a will save. We'll take the Virtuistic Performance feat for circumstance bonus to performance checks that fall within a specific subtype. We'll select Acting because Allison is an actor, obviously. At level 4, we'll take the Melodious spell class feat so we can now flavor our spell activations to those famous lines that Allison doesn't say nearly enough in the show. My God. I just started season 2, I swear she's borderline the most powerful and most useless person in the party. If you're going to use this build, please don't be stingy with your spell slots. Your siblings need you, jeez. The Charming Liar feat lets you improve the disposition of someone you critically succeed on a lie to. Level 5 bards can cast 3rd level spells. We'll actually heighten a 1st level spell, Phantom Pain, dealing 6d6 mental damage. Targets who fail also take 3d4 persistent damage and become sickened. Enthrall lets you just say, I heard a rumor, and then leave everyone standing while their eyes go blank awaiting your instruction. We'll take a skill increase for expert deception and training in medicine. The Keep Up Appearances Ancestry feat lets us hide the visible results of an emotion effect against us. For ability boost, we'll take Strength, Dexterity, Intelligence, and Charisma. At level 6, we'll take the Multilingual feat. Allison does speak 6 languages, and this feat gives us an additional 2 spoken languages. Choose ones you'll want to be able to speak fluently for your campaign, but eventually we'll be able to talk to anyone. Steady Spellcasting is a feat that lets us ignore being disrupted while casting a spell by passing a flat 15 DC check. Level 7 bards are Expert Spellcasters, meaning our occult spell attack roll and DCs are now Expert Proficiency. We'll also get a skill increase that we'll use for Expert Proficiency in Occultism. Try out that fancy new 4th level spell slot with Suggestion. This lets you control the actions of a target who fails a will save. You can make them do anything that they could logically justify without detriment or intentional harm. Confusion makes a target either stunned or confused based on the result of a will save. We'll take the Connection skill feat to arrange a meeting with the local political figure at the cost of a later favor. Allison could probably do this without even using her powers, but don't be afraid to use a spell slot to get out of making good on that favor too. At level 8, Allison learns to say it with her chest with the Reach spell class feat. Now creatures can hear rumors from an additional 30 feet away. Confabulator is a feat that reduces the bonuses NPCs gain from repeated attempts to deceive them. For now, it's reduced from a +4 to a +2 since we're an expert in deception. Allison was able to have an entire successful marriage and become a civil rights leader without letting anyone in on her mysterious past. That's a bit more than a little white lie. Level 9 bards gain Resolve and Great Fortitude for Master Will saves and Expert Fortitude saves respectively. Will also gain 5th level spells. Hallucination lets you change the perception of a target who fails a will save. You can either make them see something as a different thing, not see an object that is there, or see something of your choice that is not actually there. For our skill increase, we'll become a master in performance. For our ancestry feat, we'll pick up multi-talented to unlock the monk dedication, giving us training in acrobatics and unarmed strikes. We also get powerful fists, increasing the damage of our fists from 1d4 to 1d6, and we get to ignore the -2 penalty when attempting lethal attacks. I just realized that the team is numbered basically from most to least physically imposing, meaning Allison is the 3rd most physical fighter on the team despite her powers not enhancing her physical abilities in any way. Most impressive. At level 10, we'll take Oddity Identification for better checks on identifying occult magic. For our class feat, we'll take Monk's Flurry for access to Flurry of Blows, allowing us to make 2 unarmed strikes in a single action, combining the damage for the purposes of overcoming resistances. For ability boost, we'll increase Dexterity, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Level 11 bards gain Vigilant Senses for Master's Proficiency in Perception checks. We also get Bard Weapon Expertise, but Allison doesn't use weapons, so just ignore this, I guess. 6th level spells are a thing though. Dominate is what ruined our first marriage. This essentially is an upgrade on our Suggestion spell, except now we can make the target do actions that fall outside of their nature, excluding self-harm. But attacking allies, totally cool now. We can even heighten this spell to last forever. Feeble Mind gives a target the Stupefied condition. If they critically fail the will save, they lose all of the benefits of their Charisma, Intelligence, and Wisdom, and take a -5 penalty on all related checks permanently. Hilariously, this can just take a player character and just straight up downgrade them to an NPC. Impressive Performance lets us make an impression using our performance skill instead of diplomacy. Diplomacy is kind of a weak point for all of the 7. Pretty much only Pogo has decent communication skills. Tragic. We'll take our skill increase in Society. At level 12, we'll take the Quicken Casting class feat so our girl can say those 3 certain words a bit faster. This allows us to cast a spell in 1 less action once per day as long as the level of the spell is at least 2 levels lower than our highest attained spell slot. Fascinating Performance lets us incapacitate up to 10 observers with a critical success on a performance check. At Legendary Performance, we can attempt this on an unlimited number of creatures. Level 13 bards gain Light Armor Expertise for Expert Proficiency in Light Armor and Unarmored Defense. Would probably be a good idea to invest in some neck armor. Wouldn't want you to be powerless for a year again. We also get Weapon Specialization for an additional 4 damage on our unarmed strikes. For 7th level spells, Warp Mind confuses a creature who fails a will save for at least a minute. We'll take the Shadow Pact Ancestry feat to gain access to 5th level creation at the cost of 1 HP for an unlimited number of times per day. The only restriction is that we can only have 1 such item in existence at a time. We'll increase our Deception skill to Master here. At level 14, we'll take Inspirational Focus so we can recover 2 focus points instead of 1 on a refocus action, provided we've used at least 1 point since the last time we refocused. The Slippery Secrets feat lets us make a check to resist spell or magical effects attempting to determine whether we are lying or not. If we pass, we can keep our secrets to ourselves and hide our alignment while we're at it. Level 15 bards are Master Spellcasters who can cast 8th level spells. Uncontrollable Dance makes a creature dance for a number of actions on each of their turns depending on a will save. While they're dancing, they are flat-footed and can't take any reactions. Not that Diego needed any help lining up his targets. We also get a skill increase for Legendary Performance, just in time for the Legendary Performer feat. We're mostly here for the increased disposition average folks will have towards you, but you can also earn a sweet income with this as well as attract audiences from nearby towns. We'll take training in Thievery and ability boost in Dexterity, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. So Rumor opens up some interesting roleplay opportunities, but we're mostly just grabbing this for the name of the feat. We'll take the Soothing Ballad composition cantrip to remove fear, remove paralysis, or heal up to 9 allies. Allison can rumor heads to explode. Maybe she can rumor her siblings' wounds closed too. Level 17 bards gain greater resolve for legendary will saves, better results on success, and critical failures. We also get 9th level spells. Telepathic Demand lets us send a short string of instructions telepathically at planetary range to any creature we have been in telepathic contact with before. Target will follow through on the instructions if they fail a will save. Will of the Banshee deals 8d10 negative damage and could potentially drain all creatures within a 40-foot emanation based on a Fortitude save. This is probably closer to a Vanya ability, but we sorely need some damage somewhere in the build. We'll increase our Society skill to Legendary. We'll take the Heir of the Astrologer's feat to upgrade our Astrology feat. Now we roll a d4 and take a -1 on a 1, but any other result, we gain a bonus equal to the die result. It's not luck when you can just control reality. At level 18, we'll take the Eternal Composition class feat, giving us an extra action each turn that we can use to cast a composition cantrip. Allison should be able to get out at least 2 sentences in 6 seconds, right? We'll take another multilingual feat, bringing us to 6 known languages. Level 19 bards are legendary spellcasters and gain Magnum Opus, giving us a 10th level spell slot. Remember back at level 1 when I said Command was basically the extent of TV show Allison? I lied, okay? Fabricated Truth lets us make a statement up to 5 creatures, and if they fail a will save, they unquestioningly believe our statement and respond based on their prior experiences. Taking Master Proficiency in Occultism allows us to take the Bizarre Magic feat. It'll help keep people from figuring out exactly what we're doing. Specifically, it increases the DC on recognizing our spells by an additional 5. Only thing better than a 10th level spell slot is a second 10th level spell slot. Perfect Encore gives us just that. We'll take the Alter Reality spell, which lets us pretty much do anything we can convince our GM to let us get away with, or just replicate a 9th level occult spell or a 7th level spell of another tradition. Whatever suits your fancy. We'll also take the Legendary Linguist feat. Even 6 languages aren't enough to rumor everyone you might come across in Galarian. This lets you communicate with any intelligent creature so long as you know the medium of communication. Now that we're level 20, can we talk about how busted the rumor ability is? Making a cop walk away? That's a level 1 spell, but forcing a server to pour hot coffee on themselves? Practically impossible in Pathfinder without possession, and that just didn't really feel like a very Allison ability. We can go over the pros and cons too, though. For pros, you're the best debuffer a party can ask for. Basically, everything you cast has the incapacitation trait. High charisma, along with deception and performance, makes you a pretty decent face for the party as well, and what you lack in diplomacy, you make up for in straight-up controlling NPCs. For cons, we spec'd into Monk for flavor reasons, but we have no business getting within unarmed strike range with anything that might fight back. We're also very dependent on our enemies having weak will saves, with only a couple of spells targeting reflex or fortitude and very few spell attacks. You're going to have a hard time trying to confront another bard. Remember what I said about that neck armor? Thanks for tuning in for yet another build. Next week we're taking a break from League to take a look at a certain Blizzard property with a viewer request. Hit the like button if you're still here, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications every time I have a new build up. See ya!